D20radio.com and D20radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand.
We have one brain that we share between us.
To talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to tell you about my group later, too. Hi, you folks. THACO's Hammer, Splat Book number 110, and I am DM Glen, your illustrious host. Right, guys?
Right.
Well, that's one. And that's
you illustrate, I'll give you that.
The first one was DM Brian. Say hello.
Harsh praise indeed. Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
And the wise guy was full-on gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation.
And the guy who was smart enough not to speak is DM Corey.
What's going on, everybody? We're back again. You can't keep us out.
Or down. Or bottom, or never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stop right there.
Well, just stop right there and go to hits and crits.
Well?
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
So?
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate. Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. Corey, what's up, man? Dude.
Drawing. Getting commission artwork again for Basic Fantasy RPG. They're asking me to do some more interior artwork. Solo Mariah is over there, and also doing some more commission work for a buddy of mine who's doing a vape juice line, doing more bottle labels for his juice line.
Wow.
Took the kids to Hershey Park. Took the kids to...
That sounds messy.
What, Hershey Park?
That sounds... What, Hershey, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's a giant amusement park of nothing but rides and people and cartoons that are centered around Hershey's candies. There's a giant Reese's peanut butter cup walking around, giant Hershey bar walking around, just like think Disney World with chocolate.
Okay, I guess that puts a whole new spin on the term Hershey Highway. But
yeah,
you went there. Do you know how many times I've heard that dumb joke? Only because I live here. You know what I mean?
Cross the border, go to Ohio, check out Kings Island. There you can play with all the Hanna-Barbera dudes.
Oh, wow. And us poor Oklahomans, we've got Frontier City, but if we really want class, we go play with Bugs Bunny and guys over at Six Flags over Texas.
Yeah, and if you want a real adventure, go to the Detroit Zoo.
Oh, really?
Said, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you have to go to the zoo to have an adventure in Detroit.
I won't disagree with any of that. But
so, any gaming, Corey? Anything?
What did we do last weekend? No, we've had the kids up here for the summer, my girlfriend's kids, so we've been playing family. I mean, we played D&D was it last Sunday? Or the Sunday beforehand? But nobody died.
You sound disappointed.
Well, you know, I literally laugh because so far we have a party of multiple magic users, high intelligence, high wisdom. We have a giant party. I mean, I got 8 players at my table plus our kids sitting up here.
Wow.
That's 9 players I'm juggling. So we got multiple wizards, high intelligence. We got a ranger. We have a shoot load of elves.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a bunch of thieves. One of them actually being a trap master.
Mm-hmm.
And they've bypassed so far 6 secret or hidden rooms.
Wow.
That's even while actively rolling to check. These guys can't roll for nothing.
Jeez.
And it sounds like out of that entire horde, the reason there's an entire horde is because everyone's expendable, because I didn't hear Cleric 1 mentioned.
There is a cleric who is a cleric fighter. She is going with the Amazon theme, but not using the Amazon kit. She's a cleric fighter, but her cleric powers, she doesn't like using unless she absolutely has to.
Right.
So literally, yeah, they're searching every small jar of liquid, hoping one of them tastes like cherry soda, so that they can make sure it's healing potion.
Jeez. Oh, so that's the going flavor for that.
No, it's a running joke at my table. Somebody handed somebody a cherry cola in one time and was like, "Dude, you're down to 2 hit points. Here's your potion of healing," and that's just stuck. So yeah, healing potions are cherry flavored.
Cool. What about you, Full On? What's up?
Not a much. Packing, getting ready to deploy. And the Old Republic is still at times 12 experience for all subscribers. And yes, the game is also free to play. And they're announcing for October their new upgrade and content.
I got one question for you, Full On.
Yeah.
Do you get kickbacks from Tor?
No, I just like to spread the word and the wonderness of all things gaming to all people, and all things movie-wise to all people, and
But I can see his next time. Brian, next time he signs on to Tor, it's look at all the new stuff I got. I wonder where that came from. Yeah.
And then the Comic-Con apparently just put names to the new anthology movies that are going to be interspersed along with 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they
heard about that.
They put target subjects to them. They haven't put the names to the rest of them, except for the Kenobi one. But,
all I'm going to say about that is that they better get the Han Solo one right, which means the director should have the frickin' Crispin trilogy, right next to their frickin' director's chairs.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they're going to do a young Han Solo movie, which I'm very intrigued about. And I'm sorry, but, may she rest in peace, but Ann Crispin did it perfectly. And I don't think anything else is going to measure up, but I've been wrong before.
A friend of mine, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy Kerner, how you doing? He's at Comic-Con right now with his wife, and he saw some of the cool. The kids are going to be bugging us for a Wii U this Christmas. I can tell because we saw the Disney Infinity 3.0 figures that they were doing a pre-release for. Yeah, it's Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, and Chewbacca. He showed me.
Ooh.
They look great for Disney Infinities. They're doing the Star Wars characters for 3.0.
Awesome.
So you're going to have regular Disney characters, Marvel characters, and Star Wars characters out there. So that's going to be cool. Hey. So how about you, Brian? What's up? How's Daddy?
Oh, Daddy's just fine. My son turns 1 in about 9 days now, and he's bigger than some 2-year-olds I've seen. And,
my 1-year-old can beat up your 2-year-old.
Don't be surprised. The way he is, oh my goodness, this kid is aggressive. But anyway, aside from that, just been playing Marvel Heroes. And speaking of something going on, and this trumps you full on. From the 9th, which is today, July 9th, until I think August 31st, if I'm not mistaken. You can go to marvelheroes.com to find out. But they have a contest going where there is a very extremely ultra super rare drop that comes out when somewhere in the game, when you're defeating enemies or whatever. If you get that drop, you can redeem that to I think it's 2 Gazillion who created Marvel Heroes, but you basically get $5,000. So yeah, there's that. So hard cash or the equivalent in whatever country you live in.
DLC.
Yeah. yeah.
The equivalent in DLC is what they're going to really make that. But okay.
No. It is 5,000 in cash.
Yes, 5,000. Trouble is, it's in Bitcoin.
Hey, I take that. But no, it's actually 5,000, and there are going to be 5 such drops throughout this time period. Not a lot. There's not a ton of information about it yet. I think what I've heard is that they're going to start these drops coinciding with with their appearance at Comic-Con, which I think is tomorrow. So I think the madness will begin. The servers will be stressed because every instance, every chapter to the story, every patrol, everything that you can do in Marvel Heroes, there are going to be people in there trying to get one of these ultra tickets to get $5,000 because that's a lot of money. you know.
It is.
Aside from that, I've got Splat Books up to 109 finished and ready to send. As a matter of fact, tonight after we're done, I'm going to send out 107. Let's see what else.
And whatever we talked about then may still be relevant. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said. I got tired of of these nice little zings being thrown my way because of late shows. So yeah. Aside from that, working on the Marvel game that I'm going to be running, which I'm hoping to be, maybe next week, maybe not, but it all depends. We may just wait until Full-On gets settled in overseas, and if he can get internet time to to play the game for a couple of hours.
Gotcha.
That all depends. Aside from that, just doing the dad thing and working my jobs and, making sure the bills get paid and the lights stay on.
Oh, man.
And the internet tubes keep flowing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the hamster keeps spinning on his wheel in your computer.
Exactly.
Oh, man,
What are you doing, Glenn? What you been up to?
Right now I'm staring at the wall. Oh, yeah. Before I tell you, I've got some things going on. Before I tell you, I got a major coup at Half Price Books.
Oh, lay it on me.
I paid $10 for a 24-page game.
Mm-hmm.
I found The Extraordinary Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
They made an RPG about that?
They did. In fact,
oh, wow.
It's a rare game. This was posted on somebody's blog a long time ago. I think it was on, can't remember his name, Dragnardia.
Okay.
And this is a fun game. It's not exactly a role-playing game. Okay. It's more of a storytelling game.
Mm-hmm.
But they said you can have a hell of a lot of fun. And it went out of print because it was like 1,000. I think they ran off 1,000. Hogshead put it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that so popular that the author revised it and put it for sale again on Drive-Thru and RPG Now.
Uh-huh.
But I got the original,
cool.
And they're as rare as hen's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
For $10. Yes. See? There you go.
Yeah.
And I got a few other things. I've been playing around with Castles and Crusades. Oh, Corey, if I ever get to play Castles and Crusades, I'm going to be like you. Yeah. I'm playing a monk. No, yes, they are awesome in Castles and Crusades. They've got a lot of good powers that really fit. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can do D4 with your fists really impressed me. Uh-huh. Although I'd like to do more. I want a character who's so strong that maybe got Gauntlets of Ogre Might or what. It doesn't have to be a monk. Probably a dwarf would be better. Just somebody who could actually do the equivalent damage of like a flail or a mace with his fists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all you would need.
I want to see somebody punch out an ogre.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally get it.
And that comes close enough. And I was also reading about the monk in there, and it's not just like the martial artist guys. I mean, they take that. You could be a wrestler. You could be a pugilist.
Mm-hmm.
As a monk.
So it's sort of an all-encompassing kind of thing in that class. Okay.
Which I like. It's like you're a monk. Okay, what kind of monk are you? You make it up. It even gives you a leeway of using certain weapons and things. But anyway, that's Castles and Crusades. And my group is kind of I don't want to say dying, but we're starting to lose focus. Matt's going to drop, and it's basically going to come down to me and another guy as far as like GMing goes.
Well, that's okay.
And he's not very long with his. He wants to run Oriental Adventures in 5th edition. And he's still working on an adaptation for it. And basically, I said it's going to come to the point where just me and Eric, we're just going to go in another room and flip a coin.
Yeah. It's like who wants to run today? Okay.
Yeah.
Rock,
who's
paper, scissors.
Yeah. Who's going to do the campaign for a while? And I've got a poll up on our group's Facebook page. of like I picked like 5 things I wouldn't mind running.
Mhm.
And so far, I voted for, of course, Castles and Crusades.
Of course you did.
And I've got 2 votes for Mutant Future.
Okay.
So
I'm
we'll see
surprised
how
you
that
only
goes.
got 2. I'm surprised you didn't get an overwhelming vote for Mutant Future, considering how much interest there was.
There was, but there's also interest in like 50 Fathoms. There was people who love playing pirates.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I get it.
And so I don't know how that's going to go. I'm going to miss the game this Saturday because I have an audition. This is funny. I have an audition because one of the guys in the group said, "Oh, you might be interested in this." An audition for a show I've been wanting to do since college.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, "Hey guys, I can't be at the game." Oh, the DM's going to be mad. I says, "Well, go talk to Jimbo. He was the one who told me about it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Blame him. Exactly.
Yeah. They're doing a Mice and Men, and that's been one of my bucket list shows.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's
Now.
been that and Death of a Salesman.
Oh, cool. How are you gonna do? You're only gonna do one, right? Not gonna try to do both, are you?
What, the game and the show?
Yeah.
I could. The way rehearsals work, I could probably because the game's during the day.
Okay. And the rehearsals at night?
No, rehearsals usually don't happen on weekends until like the final week.
Right.
Where
Before
we
it
have
goes
to be
live.
there all weekend to, dress rehearsal, tech rehearsals. It's like, and I'm out for what, 1 game?
Okay. I get it. No,
I can manage, but I'm going to be doing that. After that, I don't know what is going to be going on.
Okay.
I'm playing some Castles and Crusades with Gage.
Uh-huh.
I'm running him. I don't know if I said this on the last show, but I'm running him through the Xenopus Tower,
cool.
the Holmes dungeon.
Awesome.
With Castles and Crusades, and he's having a ball.
Hey, good for him. Good for him.
I think that was the dungeon where he said, "Okay, I throw smoke bombs, and
yep.
I'm going to knock them off, but these 2 ghouls come out." And oh boy.
Yeah, that didn't work too well.
That didn't work too well, but anyway, that's me.
I've got one. I've got 2 from Kojo and 1 from Cal, because we haven't heard from Kojo in a while since his abortive attempt to do a splat book. And by the way, I got a hold of Kojo, and I wanted to get him for this show, but he's not going to be able to do it. His schedule's changed now that he's, I think he's doing like a full-time job now that he's not teaching for the year.
What do you say? You saying do the show just as a regular?
Yeah, no, not as a regular, just as a guest. Because you remember the last time we had him, he did that brainstorm where the topic was completely randomly generated, and we went off that. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't use it. That
was fun.
Yeah, it was. I want to get him to do that, but we might have to go to another day in order to get him, because during the week is bad for him. The weekends are much better. On a positive note, I talked to All Dragon, and he's down for whatever, whenever. So, if we need another guest DM, we can have him in the bullpen. All right. So, all right. Let me do this real quick. Okay. So here's the first voicemail we have from Kojo.
Okay.
Hey guys, Kojo. Hey, just got done listening to Splatbook 101, and specifically was interested in your review of the Warriors and Priests of the Realms Splatbook. One point in time I had that, the Wizards and Rogues one. Didn't really give them much of a look, didn't really do much with them. Figured they're too custom for Forgotten Realms, which, I kind of have my own custom world. And never used them and sold them. Now I kind of wish after your review that I hadn't, because I feel like there's some good stuff in there I could have at least pulled, even if I'm not running a campaign in the Realms. Also made me sad that they didn't do a similar thing for Greyhawk and maybe some of the other campaign worlds. I think that was interesting that they had the different warriors from the different types of places. So, but it does give good ideas. I might have to pick them up just so I can have a guide in case I want to make custom warriors or priests for my own campaign world, which has chunks of Greyhawk in it, things like that. So, keep up the great work. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks,
okay.
Coach.
Finest kind.
Thanks,
and
Coach.
hey, I would totally say, Kojo, you just simply get your hands back on the copies of the Warriors and Priests and the Wizards and Rogues of the Realms, polish off the serial numbers, read through your Gazetteers, or read through your Greyhawk books and say, that looks a whole lot like that, so I'm just going to swap insert. Unless you just want to use that as a template and build your own custom regional kits for whatever pieces of Greyhawk or the Dragonlance or Red Steel or wherever else you want to put them in. It's that easy to insert.
Yeah, easily.
And I tell you, Kojo, I'm sorry to sound like Dean Martin. I tell you, Kojo, there's not a guy in this podcast who hasn't done that at least once. I've gotten rid of at least 3 books I had to rebuy. I did that with a GM screen.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those really nice generic ones that Pinnacle sells?
Right.
I gave it away, and then like 6 months later, I got into Savage Worlds. I wish I hadn't sold that.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
given it away.
it does happen. Yeah.
And books and stuff. I've rebought in my lifetime. I've rebought Call of Cthulhu about 7 times.
Yeah.
Because every time I needed some money, that was the first one to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I shudder to think how many times through the years I've bought and rebought like the Mold Bay rules and the various 1E rule books that, the binding was not too good and would fall apart after about 6 months, and things of that nature. But, that's one of the reasons why I pretty much switched to almost all PDFs, because I don't have to worry about that anymore. I mean,
I'm not going to. All my books stay now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple I've gotten rid of because I really have no use for them.
Right.
It was one of those, why the hell did I buy this type things.
Yeah, anything non-second edition, once I have a hard copy, I make sure I guarantee I have a high-quality PDF. If I find one, if I don't find one, I make it myself, and then I get rid of it if it's not second edition.
Right.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I keep everything.
Yeah, Sweden. I knew you would say it.
I've got like 7 copies of Players' Handbooks and Fiend Folios and Unearthed Arcanas because they keep dying, but other than that, or get left behind. But other than that, the only games I've ever sold off was getting home after a convention. I sold off Dark Conspiracy, Cinnabar, and the Aliens RPG that was put out by Phoenix.
Hey, that's an awesome one. It's sitting on the
It is
shelf.
an awesome one. It is an absolute diamond resource for alien xenomorph information. And those are the ones I want back. But that's the only ones I haven't gotten back, and everything else I just kept.
The ones I sell off tend to be stuff like, half-price books says everything's 50% off today. Oh, I'll buy this. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. But it's 50% off.
Hey, sometimes that's all it takes.
I recently bought a copy of Burning Wheel.
Burning Wheel?
Edition. Burning Wheel, first edition.
Burning Wheel, it's a new RPG. It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
That's why. And the character burner. And I put that on there, and I'm going, how the hell? Why am I ever going to use it? Pretty soon they go, oh wait, I helped write that. If you need a second edition, because it's got a second edition, let me know. And it's like, yeah, you'll be the first one I'll let know.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, no wonder I hadn't heard of it, because I'm like, that's an interesting name for an RPG. But that's a new one, you say?
Yeah, Burning Wheel. I thought it sounds like something you have to do with Lamentations of the Flame Princess, but it's something else entirely.
Yeah, it sounds like a supplement for that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's...
No! Oh, what a lovely day!
Hey, Corey?
Yo!
Could you move your mic a little bit? You're breathing right into it. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Let's go on.
Being attacked by a cat.
Oh, okay. Is that what that is?
Okay, Kojo. Let's do Kojo number 2.
Okay. All right. I was going to do Cal, but yeah, we'll do Kojo number 2. Why not? Let's give him some love. We haven't heard from him recently. Okay. All right. Here we go. Number 2.
Greetings, gentlemen. It's DM Kojo. Hey, guys. Just listening to Splatbook 103, your email show, and good show, as always. But I do have to take issue with you guys' take on the DM that want to do Survivor Island. I think you can totally do this, And in fact, I think you should do this. I think it is a fantastic way to start an adventure. As long as you hook it into a more complex plot, and it's not just you wake up and you're on an island and you're naked. There's got to be more going on to keep the players engaged and make it worth their while to want to engage in the storyline. Although I would not do it the way Corey said he did it, which was have them do character creation first. I would give them pre-gens, probably would be my choice, and they just show up. I probably would not collaborate with them in advance, only because the shock I would appreciate and want to see how they adapt on the fly. So I would have them show up and say, we're doing a one-off, here's a bunch of pre-gens, they have no equipment, and tell them the storyline and go. This I've learned from my experience playing the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG, which is wild, wacky, fast, and loose. I love it that way, and so that's how I handle it. All right, keep up the great work. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Coach, again. No comment on DCC. But other than that, yeah, I remember us talking. That was an all-email show, right?
Yeah, that was an all-email show.
Okay. You know, we got to start putting disclaimers on those just so Eric Tinkar can tune out. But
well, yeah, I think the show names kind of give it away.
I know.
But getting to his email while I was listening to it, because I haven't listened to these, I'm listening to it along with you guys. My whole thing is even doing it the way you said, Kojo, at least you're giving your players advance warning. Hey, this is a one-shot. These are pre-gens. That pretty much means that almost anything goes as far as what the DM is up to. The way this guy wrote his email is that he just wanted to just throw it on his players, no warning, and where the players have these really good concepts for characters or what they want to do, and pretty much all that goes out the window because, the DM just says, okay, you guys are on an island, naked, no clothes, no food, what are you going to do? And, then that it does turn into Survivor at that point. That was the joke we made. But, it's one of those where as a DM, it's kind of on you to say, look, I'm going to do something, even if you're just saying, I'm going to do something a little different. You guys may not like it too much at first, but, give me a shot. Give me a chance. If you say that at least, they'll at least go with you for at least a few steps before they decide whether they like it or not.
I've done one-shots before of, systems where I want to expose them to a new system.
Uh-huh.
And stuff like that. The first thing out of their mouths is, you got pre-gens, right?
Yeah, well, see, even then, at least you're saying, hey, I'm trying something different instead of just saying, yeah, let's get together and let's do a game. And, and if you're dealing with, like I said, when we talk about it, when you're dealing with veteran players, unless you tell them about it first, they're going to assume that it's going to be more or less of, the game's going to be of a piece, of a type, where you roll up your characters kind of, bond together as a group, and you go on an adventure or whatever. And if you do it this way, at least you're taking out the
buy-in.
Yeah, the buy. Thank you, Full On. That's exactly what the word I wanted to use. Yeah, taking out the buy-in. And when you do that, then you're working from a negative number instead of from zero, because now you've got to overcome the player resentment because you decide to spring this on them, without at least a minor bit of advance warning.
Right.
Guys?
Yes?
I am reminded of a Knights of the Dinner Table series where, I'm sorry, I'm burned out. We're not playing Hackmaster anymore tonight. We're going to play Star Hack. We're going to play Space Hack. No problem, fine. Oh, our ship has a holodeck? What can we program the holodeck to do? Oh, we're going to do a fantasy role-playing game in the holodeck. We're going to play Hackmaster in your Star Hack campaign. Eat me, DM. And that's exactly the response that you might encounter with that. But, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. It's okay. Yeah. Pre-gens have their value, have their place, usually around a con table or when you're experimenting, like you said, with new game systems. I like to learn a game system by character creation. If I can't create a character, I don't understand the system. Handing me a pre-gen gives me a pile of expendable resources.
Mhm.
And that's the way a lot of players treat pre-gens.
But like I said, you're absolutely right, full on, because I said I do that for one-shot stuff. But if there's a system where I'm hot to do a campaign, the first session will consist of making characters. So yeah, you're right about the pre-gens. Should be like for one-shots and cons.
I'm with full on this one.
Are you?
Corey?
Are you? He concurs.
Yes. Did you hear me?
No.
yes,
yeah,
sir.
we can hear you now. Go for it.
You couldn't hear me before when I said I'm with full on. My opinion is the same as full on. I
said
know
yeah.
the system.
Okay.
I know, but I was going with Brian going, huh? What?
Oh, sorry.
I know he was playing my role.
Duh. But I mean, yeah, it's like I've said before. It's just to me. I hate to sound like and say this like this, but because it sounds like I'm being whiny, but so be it. But it's sort of a respect thing, because if a DM has this idea for a game and he knows there's a decent chance his players are not going to be all about it, or at least at first, it's on the DM to say, hey, look, guys, this is going to be a little different than what we normally do. And, just give me a shot. Just give it a couple sessions. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to what we normally are doing. But, at least buy in with me to a certain point. And if you don't like it, just say so. But that's just me.
Okay. Whatever. Thank you again, Kojo.
Yep.
And now, one more.
Yep, one from DM.
Turn up the mic. Let's listen.
Yeah, turn the speakers back on, and we're going to go with DM Cal. One moment, please.
Cutting edge technology, folks.
Hi, THACO's Hammer. It's DM Cal here again. I had a DM brainstorm idea that I'd love to toss to y'all and see what you can do to help me with it. It's about dealing with the race class limits that are based in the book. Most often those are thrown out. We think, what's the point of them? Well, how would you create a campaign world where the race class limits make sense with the campaign setting? So it's a case of, if humans are the only ones that can access, say, 9th level magic, well, what does that do to a world? Why would there be a limit on the elves purposely limit themselves? Is it destroying the fabric of the world somehow? Is it because they banished their gods a while ago? What sorts of things would that cause and do? So I'm just sort of tossing some of the ideas together myself, and I thought, hey, let's look at what y'all would think. So if you want to weigh in, that would be great, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cal. No, we level limit them because the demi-humans are just that stupid. That's the short answer, anyway.
Well, when it comes,
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. Now, if we were say, roll for initiative, and one of us voiced that opinion, I'd be in 100% agreement about it. But I've said it repeatedly. If you're gonna go with level limits, the limits they put in second edition are way above and beyond what first edition even dreamed of going towards.
True.
And then on top of that, then they give an optional rule where if you have your prime requisite for the class being, say, a mage's intelligence, you have an AT intelligence, you get 3 more levels past that.
Wow.
Yeah, so you could technically have an elf who can cast 9th level spells. He could effectively become an 18th level mage. So
you look at the RC where it's like you want severe level caps.
Yeah.
Go look at the RC, but in the back one of the appendix is saying throw them out if you don't want to, but they're saying like take away some of their special abilities and stuff, and I don't really buy that.
I don't either.
But they're saying like you want them to go up to level 36 like everybody else, go for it.
Yeah, why not?
And as far as what it does to a campaign world, well, if you play raw, the level limits, you just continue reading your book and it describes why the level limits are what they are. For elves, they are declining as a race. It's not that they're stupid, it's that they are a degenerating race who have had their peak and are on the downslide and have been supplanted by the lesser races that are more prolific. Same with the dwarves.
Yep.
Things like that. The other things are just, it's more of an interesting exercise to say, okay, if I were to use level limits, but not the ones in the rules, I want dwarven thieves, I want halfling paladins, I want elven monks. Okay, then what are your level limits and why for your world build for what that, and how does that influence what your world setting would be like? And then you could brainstorm that into saying, hey, in my world, the high mages are the gnomes. They are the ultimate magic users who have, the race has sacrificed its physical stature to the point where they are now the grays and are diminutive people who have great mental and power and whatnot. Okay, fine, awesome. Oh, the everyone goes with the serene and deity-related semi-divine elves who are half, clerical anyway. Okay, well, fine, they can do that. Or you can do any other variant you want on that.
So basically, the gnomes turn into like the old ones from Green Lantern.
Yes.
Yeah. Only 2.5 feet tall. Hey, Corey.
Yeah, with big brains. Corey.
Yes.
Oh, your thoughts?
I have the level. Why the level limits are there is exactly what Full On said. It's because of they're in the basic D&D, the elven race is declining. The way I took it was when I first heard about level limits and it was explained. I don't remember where I read it. It had something to do with their flighty nature, and they move from. Okay, I'm going to spend a couple hundred years doing this. Then I'm going to go ahead and go be a potter for a couple hundred years. Then I'm going to go adventure for a couple hundred years. And it's literally because of their nature of wanting to grasp everything, they make a conscious decision to stop adventuring or at least stop gaining the knowledge and that skill because their interests move to something else.
And that always pissed me off because that is a textbook definition to me of dual classing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, but you can't have a level
multi-classing.
You can't have a level 9 elven mage and a level 3 potter.
Yeah,
but if he was Harry Potter.
Yeah, for me, I've gotten rid of racial limits, level limits. They're all gone. I've removed them. I've given a bonus to the humans because if you get rid of level limits with the demi races, essentially your players go, "Why would I play ever a freaking human?" And it's true because that's one of the main reasons to play a human. But in my opinion, level limits should be on the actual human due to their short lifespan compared to the other races.
Okay. Let me give you the 3 base races, how I see why the level limits are for elves, dwarves, and halflings. Elves, as Brian said, they're a declining race. And also Corey's, they go and do other things. With the dwarves, they become so insular in their mountain there.
Yeah.
And stuff. That's why they have a level limit, because they don't come out and meet people. They don't interact with other races very well. With the halflings, they interact with races too well, because they basically will be starting to get assimilated into like the human culture and stuff. So, what I would do with the halflings, if they start assimilating into the human culture, I would start using the human levels.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, my whole thing is that, and I've just used the stuff in demi-human deities as my basis. Yes, to me, it's sort of like the elves and dwarves, at least in my games, yes, they are in decline, which is why, but they also have, they also as a race and their deities as a separate race realize that if they keep doing things the way they're doing them, they're going to die out in a couple of thousand years. So, or say 10,000, something like that.
Right.
But and that's why, at least to me, why the elves, like in demi-human deities, both the elves and the dwarves now they have fertility deities because they're trying to stop the decline. And I mean, I hate the fact that that's the most relied upon trope when it comes to demi-humans. I mean, never mind the fact that back in the day, the reason why level limits were created is so that
make people play humans.
People play humans, exactly. But my whole thing is that I've always looked at it like, if I want to play an elf, I'll play an elf. If I want to play a human, I'll play a human. I don't care about the benefits so much of the whatever race it is. I don't care about them so much that that's what I'll play exclusively. I
like the cultural twerks and queeks and stuff. That's why I play Eberron, because it's awesome. It's a different world because of the racial outline.
Yeah, they took it and turned it on its head. True. But I mean, as far as a campaign, the way it goes, I mean, the most aside from Eberron, which is a published campaign world, the most different world I've seen from your quote unquote typical D&D world is what Corey's doing. Just by what he's written as far as what's gone on with the elves, what's going on with the dwarves, it's a different take on it. And I'm just giving props where they're due, man. That's all it is. And
he didn't have to Dark Sun it to do it.
No, he didn't. Oh God. I've been going through the emails, and everybody's honest about Dark Sun, but let's leave that alone. But I mean, and it doesn't take much for a DM just to say, you know what, I am sick to death of the elves are in retreat. They're going away to another island because they can't compete with the humans. The dwarves are just going to hide in the mountains until they die out.
That's a tokenism.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what has been running Dungeons and Dragons since first edition, is a photocopy of the Tolkien races and how they are.
Yeah, I agree, and and I'm like, no. In my Mystara game, the elves are trying to, at the very least, come to an equal footing with the humans. Of course, that means their birth rate has to go up. So Angaroth was quote unquote created. The dwarves, they're like, we are too insular, we are too clannish, we are too much at cross purposes with each other, never mind the other races who are outstripping us on the outside of our world because we don't want to go outside of our mountain except to trade. That's why Sharindlar was created, and things along those lines. And so they're doing what they can to stop it, and because of that, I have no problem with a player saying, I'll play a dwarf, I'll play a human, I'll play a half-elf, I'll play a halfling, I'll play a gnome, whatever. Whatever you want to do, as long as it's not too crazy, and it's not going to go against the team dynamic of an adventuring party, go for it. And that's just how I feel about it.
I want to play Wolverine. But what race? He's saying no. Wolverine is his own race.
Correct.
He's a mutant.
Heavily modified mutant.
Who has swallowed 15 rings of regeneration.
Yes.
Exactly. Don't laugh. I have
those mithril claws?
No, they're adamantite. No, don't laugh. I created Wolverine back in the day. I still have him. He's a 38th level fighter, first edition, with the claws. Wow. And the regeneration, yes.
Well,
but anyway.
Thank you, Cal, and that's our emails.
Yes, sir.
Please write us so we can argue over stuff more at THACOshammer@gmail.com. And the number is 405-627...
hold it. Stop.
Elephants and storks.
405-806-0555.
I kind of like the elephants and storks.
Did you just about give out your home phone number, Glenn?
I said elephants and storks. Is that my home phone?
Okay. Hey, I was just trying to stop you before you did something you'd regret.
It almost went blue there, but thank you. Anyway, let's go to 99% perspiration.
Brilliance. That's all I can say. Sheer, unadulterated brilliance.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
Okay, so how do you do that?
I do work, bitch.
99% perspiration.
99.999% perspiration. Here we go again. Tips for beginning DMs Part 4. I did not know there was a Part 4. Brian told me that. There's actually 6 parts. Did you guys know that?
Yeah. Both Corey and I came up with it a while ago. Yeah.
This one's called Treasure Distribution. How much is too much and how much is not enough?
Correct.
just enough to settle down, have marry somebody, have some kids with the white picket fence, and a dragon. In front.
That's the next segment. But yeah, I mean,
How do you think we keep the house warm?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I could make a joke, but I won't. This is one of those things that I remember way back in the day. I mean, of course, almost all of us, and whether or not they're going to admit it or not, we've all done the Monty Hall campaign.
I haven't.
I said most of us.
I have. I still do sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, there are just when you are a beginning DM, it is so easy to give out. I mean, when we did the last segment, which was the opposition, which was figuring out what the proper challenge is for a party at a certain level or whatever, and not going too easy sometimes and not going too hard sometimes, but every once in a while going off that, trying to go off the straight and narrow just to show the players, hey, game's dangerous. This is the other part of that. Go ahead.
I'm worse about giving out experience than I am with loot because I'm always forgetting to give out experience.
Really? Wow.
I don't know any table full of players that would ever forget to go to the DM. Hey, I need my XP.
Exactly.
Hey, I need my XP. Hey, you didn't give XP out last session.
Exactly.
Hey, we all went home early. I need my XP. I get Facebook messages from my players. Hey, you get the XP done yet? Hey, you get the XP done yet? Hey, did we get XP last time? I wasn't sure. Can you check on that for me? Yeah, I get text messages all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I never did the Monty Hall thing, but you know what I have fallen victim to
Mm-hmm.
is the one item fascination.
What do you mean?
I read, treasure lists and game books and stuff like that, and find that one item that is so cool in my mind. Somebody's gonna get this in the next game.
Yeah, I've done it. I'll cop to that. Yeah, I've done that too. It just I just had to remember.
Last time I did that was 50 Fathoms. They have an Everfull blunderbuss in there, pistol in there, where as long as you have the makings on you, like the shot and the powder and stuff, it will automatically load your gun.
Awesome.
And, if you got like 10 shots, and you got the makings for 10 shots, you got 10 shots, you never have to spend an extra round firing. I said, this is too cool, and Matt got it.
Oh, so basically it was a semi-automatic blunderbuss pistol.
No, it's not an automatic, but I'm saying, how, during the old days where you had the cap and ball, where you had to like fire and then take the next round to reload.
Yeah, flintlock.
It was a flintlock. He didn't have to do that. He'd go bang, and the next round he could go bang again if he had it on.
Yeah, that's what I meant, semi-automatic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, there were times where when I would be creating dungeons and adventures, I mean, there's this guy on Dragon's Foot like about 2 years ago. And we were talking about, old dungeons that we made. This guy sent me a private message because I was talking about this adaptation of B1 that I did, but I did it for like levels 10 to 14 instead of level 1. And he's like, dude, I want to see that. And I said, okay, and give me your address. Guy lived in Italy. And I went over to the local Kinko's. I made copies of everything. And I packed it up and I shipped it to him. It only cost like $20 or something. And so I sent it to him, and he sent me another private message about a week later, and he's like, dude, this is pretty damn cool, but you put a whole lot of really powerful stuff in there. And I said, yeah, sometimes when I'm generating treasure, I go a little nuts. And that's kind of what happened. I didn't have anybody play test them. But
the last time I ran for the kids here, I took Swords and Wizardry's treasure allocation system and used it. It works great.
Okay.
Because they have a way where you make rolls. You decide how much loot is in the whatever level of dungeon you have.
Right.
You roll for like a gold piece amount, and then you start rolling on these charts to see if you have any like magic item, what they call trade outs.
Right.
1,000 gold piece trade outs, 1,500 gold piece trade outs. You can trade them out for like better armor or a magic item or something. And then after you get that total and you see what you got, then you distribute it.
Right, and then
level.
You just sprinkle it through the dungeon level.
Wherever it makes sense, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool system. I'd like to check that out. That's one of the things as a DM, because you don't want to give too much money to your players, but you don't want them to slog through, say Keep on the Borderlands, or Search of the Unknown, or even Palace of the Silver Princess, or the Lost City. Any one of those, and they get done, and they've gone through all kinds of 25 different kinds of hell, and they come out and they're beaten and they're bloodied, but they're victorious, and they only have like a grand total of like 1,000 gold pieces between them. I mean, that's sort of a come down. As a player, I've always hated skinflint DMs. Because they're so worried about the players getting so much money that all of a sudden, the players have all of this all this financial power, and they can manipulate this and they can do that. BS. 9 times out of 10 in all the games I've played, it's never come to that. Most of the times, the biggest problem that players have is transferring the money they get from whatever adventure they have into hard cash. They have to go and turn it into gems or even gold bricks or something like that. But yeah, I've never had that problem. But when I redid B5 that I put you guys through in Hammers of the Duchy, I had to go back through and just go through the treasures, and there were only 2 big treasure hoards in the entire adventure, only 2. And you guys found them both. It was the treasure hoard that the Hobgoblin Chief had and the treasure that the Red Dragon had. That was it. And every once in a while, when you ran up against the elite units, they actually had money on them. And you guys actually took the time to say, hey, let's search these guys.
Oh, yeah, we're vacuum cleaners when it comes to dungeon crawling.
Absolutely. And as any veteran gaming group should be, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So every gamer and every game master eventually knows, mo money, mo problem.
Absolutely.
You can skinflint your way through a dungeon, and people are going to gripe, and then you overcorrect and you give them all their heart's desires, and then you overcorrect beyond that and rub their face in so much cash that they don't know what to do with themselves, and then you take it all away.
Yeah.
And you can find your equilibrium eventually, but it's such a trope that everyone goes through, almost everyone goes through some flavor of that or another, just to change things up, try things out, see if this group has the maturity level to deal with this, that, or the other, or if you need to give them the assistance or the aid or the hand up to take care of what they got to do. You just try to make it equitable to the threats they face.
Right.
What is the circumstance the party is in? What are the threats that they're overcoming to achieve? Is the reward worth the risk?
Right.
And it's just a balance of that at any given time. And then you work your way through making that make sense if you can. I am not a fan of this is the Goblin tribe's pile of treasure. It's in the poorly locked chest in the middle of the village, and we're not going to use any of that. We're just going to guard it because that's what we're here for as XP sponges. No, you put those things out in the field. You put that armor on somebody. You put that sword in somebody's hand. They're going to find out about it. The offense is going to be using it. You want it, you pry it out of their cold dead fingers,
right,
or undead fingers, or whatever it is you got going on.
Yeah, I've done the same thing, and when I started, I was in Monty Hall, and I saw a cool magic item. I'm like, oh, it's going in. Well, they're only fighting flumps. Yeah, but they need the sword of cause because it's a cool weapon. You get to the point, though, where you have to realize the treasure type tables, if you're going to play at that low level of income, that works. Some people don't use those and go by the seat of their pants. You eventually figure out, okay, that they're spending on average 45 gold in town for equipment and greasing palms and getting maps and bribing sages and whatnot. Okay, so 45 gold times 5 players. You can do your own little math if you want to, or you can just say this dragon's been here for 300 years. 300 years is a lot of adventurers that would come by with swords and staves and wands and axes, and he's going to have some weapons in the cache. No dragon goes, oh man, this thing's been here 200 years. It's dusty, it's rusty. Let me throw it out. No. They hoard treasure. You just got to make sure that the treasure hoard that you have is logical and fits the campaign level.
Exactly.
And for me now, I personally have taken my money haul and I've done different things. But my players now know, the players who've been playing with me for a while now know, if Corey gives them a big treasure hoard, they need to use it. Because if they don't, I'm taking it away. And by taking it away, I mean, okay, so the wizard's walking around with a bag of holding, a wand of fireballs he hasn't used with 6 charges left on it. He found a rod of he found a spell book with 15 other spells in it, and he's wearing a pair of boots that are boots of flying that he hasn't flown in 7 adventure sessions. And I'll put a room in there with, on the other side of the room, spell components, books, and librums, and it's a sorcerer's room, and there's a very large thaumaturgical circle on the floor. Roll for observation. I didn't make it. Okay, you didn't see the circle. I'm going across the circle to go get all those things on the other side. Okay, everything that you're wearing that's magical is now defunct. Well, they know I will do that if they don't use it.
Right.
Half the fun is watching them hoard them because they're afraid of losing it. I have guys that are paying NPCs that are their higher level characters to protect the magic items they find for them while they go back out and adventure for magic items.
Right. Yeah, and that's the other part about it, is that at some point, at least in my experience, riding along on horses isn't enough just to carry all their stuff from town to town. At some point, they start to get the reinforced, armored, can sleep 3 people while the other 3 ride, and their horses trail along behind the wagon. You know, one of those mega wagon kind of things.
Yeah.
They start to go RVing in a way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I have no problem with that, because that way they have to spend their money to get that. You know, and I'm not a big fan of taking stuff away, but they do understand that, yeah, if they get fireballed by an enemy mage, they blow their save. Some of their magic items are going to go bye-bye unless they're lucky. And because I remember in one game that I ran with my ex-roommate and Allie and a couple other people, they were going through Tomb of the Lizard King, my adaptation of that, where they go up against the Black Dragon for the first time, and the dragon breathed acid on them, and the mage failed her save even though she lived through the acid, barely, but she had like several magic items on her person, and I had to make saves for those, and they went bye-bye. But, you know, and she wasn't happy about some of those items that she lost. But I said, but they got through the entire adventure, and through all the NPCs that they killed and the vampire lizard man at the end, they ended up getting those magic items not directly replaced, but replaced with something else.
Right.
And that's part of the thing that, you know, that also DM has to take into account sometimes.
I've given magic items away that are unique and they can't find them in the book. You know, I got a guy going, what magic item I get? Okay, you got a +3 frost brand that has a couple other abilities. Where do I find information? You don't. I've had a guy who has died while the party is escaping an attack of, I think they were Umber Hulks. Ran, left his body laying there.
Right.
Waited till the group went back to the tavern, was searching for another, you know, his new character. Found his new character. We're talking loudly about what's there. Then he turns around and he's like, I made a new character. Okay, I'm going to go approach the party. He approached the party with the simple fact of this guy was overhearing what the party was saying to the prospective adventurers, simply because he wanted to go loot his other character's body to get his items. A fallen guy with magical items.
Classic.
Yeah.
And that's one of those instances where you just kind of just got to look at the player, cock your head, and just say no, because it's like one of these things where it's like it's amazing what the players think they can get away with sometimes.
And a lot of players got a pretty big pair out there, and they will try to get away with murder.
Oh yeah, especially if you let them. It's true. It is so true. But I mean, getting back to the topic real quick. As far as you have to also keep your party's level in mind. There is no reason why a first to third level party should have the equivalent of 100,000 gold pieces of loot on their person. No way. And just like that same party shouldn't be having to scrabble out in the wilderness because they couldn't afford 2 or 3 weeks of iron rations either. Especially if they're actively adventuring. There's just no way that should happen.
And you know what? It pretty much boils down to a few things. First of all, find a system that works for you.
Yeah.
As far as treasure distribution, know your players.
Yep.
Know your players' characters, and the party as a whole.
Yeah,
Use that as a guideline.
Exactly. I mean, I was thinking about it while we were talking about this. You guys in Hammers of Duchy, you guys made out pretty well. You guys probably have about, I'd say probably close to 15,000 gold pieces. If you guys pooled it all together, you have like 20,000, and that's okay, because there are 6 of you, and you're all averaging about 5th level. That's not a problem, but it's all what you guys decide to do with that money, And
there's 6 of us now that we don't have to feed 2 stupid dogs. Love you, Allie.
Aw, Corey, you are so mean.
I hate those dogs.
That's mean. That's just mean,
Those
man.
dogs are XP thieves.
No, they weren't. They weren't. This isn't 3rd edition where you can level up.
I'm sour
companions.
because every time I played, I was fair to Midland. You tell me, oh yeah, you missed a session. You were kicking butt. You were jumping all around, killing people. I'm like, why couldn't I do that?
Because you weren't rolling good enough.
I know. Hence why I'm bitter.
Yeah, well, the dice gods are cruel. The dice gods are fickle. We all know this.
But like my session, I figured out my party, my character, or my group, pretty. But the money's in my group. The money's not important as what they're doing.
Yeah, what they're doing. Exactly.
I mean, they've made they've got like 3 or 4 king's ransoms in loot in 50 fathoms. But to them, the fun is getting it.
Right.
Not spending it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way the game is set up, correct?
They could have, I mean, at the end, they could have bought an armada of ships. They just wanted one ship so they could go do it some more.
Right. And that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. I gave them a ship. I didn't even pay for it.
I mean, I'm thinking about, the Star Wars.
Oh, they paid for it.
I wanted to fight for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm thinking about Star Wars. I mean, the 3 or 4 times I've run a game, what's the number one thing the players want to do if they don't have one already? Buy a ship.
Buy a lightsaber.
Yeah, or make one. Yeah, they can't buy that. But my whole
ship.
Yeah, they want to buy a ship or buy 2 ships.
That's gonna go for any
I want to
size.
put a ship in a ship, so I have extra ships.
I want a blast boat.
Yeah, that goes for any science fiction game because, I mean, even I remember Tales of playing Traveler where all they cared about was the ship.
Yeah, designing the ship. Yeah, designing the ship.
Now we got to retrofit the ship. Now we got to buy this for the ship. Let's go do this. Well, it's a good motivation for adventuring.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, I ran them through an adventure called Supernova, which is one of the better Star Wars modules made, and I had to convert it to D20. But at the end, they had to appropriate an Imperial shuttle. They already had their beat-up freighter because one of the player characters, of course, was playing a smuggler, and the smuggler had this beat-up tramp freighter, and so now they had 2 ships, and to me, it was kind of funny because I was just wondering what they were going to do with it. And sure enough, one of the players started talking to me about how he wanted to completely modify and just completely trick out the Imperial shuttle, in order to make, they wanted to put turrets on it and all this other stuff. And I said, considering this thing has fold-down wings in order to fly, that's going to be difficult.
When I was running D6 Star Wars,
oh no,
back,
it isn't.
When I was running D6 Star Wars way back when, the standard joke around the table was, there's no such thing as a stock light freighter.
Absolutely not, because the stock light freighter is crap.
As always, it's always modified. You always make your modifications on it.
Yeah, because
I created a D6 table for stock, quote, light freighters. There were 6 things that could be changed on your ship. There were 6 levels of change they could have. You roll a D6 for how many things are changed, which one was changed, and to how much degree, and that increased the amount of the debt that you owed to the hut, and you had your unique light freighter that may or may not have a history.
Speaking of that, you've read the Millennium Falcon novel, have you not?
Of course.
Oh God, that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, because everyone who plays Star Wars, who plays a smuggler, has to try to be Han Solo. Every last one.
When we were playing D6 Star Wars, it was funny because we had 2 characters who jointly owned their stock light freighter, a la Han and Lando. And they would, every week they would play, or every month they would play poker to see who owned it that month.
Yeah.
And when one guy owned it, it was called the Sir Francis Drake, and the other guy owned it, it was called the Bucket of Blood.
with transponders, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Matching, with IDs to match, yeah.
Yes.
It was sort of like the James Bond car with the rotating license plates. But yeah, I mean, okay, but we've digressed quite a bit.
I think we have.
Yeah, we have. But my whole thing is this: when it comes to determining treasure, just keep in mind, try to do a middle road. When your characters, if you're gonna use the treasure tables, and you're running into treasure types and so forth, it's not a big deal to remove a 0 from some of those treasures.
That's right.
For low-level parties at least. But if they're running into dragons, there's no point in running into mature adult dragons. There's no reason for the dragon to have only 500 gold pieces in its lair. There's no way in hell.
There is also every reason in the world for you as the GM to selectively edit the treasure results to account for the nature of your party.
Yeah, positively or negatively.
There is some value in having a unique, odd thing that no one's ever seen before appear in a treasure hoard. That's what makes it treasure.
Yep.
But
that's right.
You need to also account for there are things that the party will want to have to use for themselves, and the things you provide them should be things they can use, not things that they have to go have their own separate adventure for to try to find someone to teach them how to use a 3-sectional staff.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
All you Padawans listening out there, let me give you one piece of advice, and this includes not only treasure, but every aspect of your game. You should always, on a semi-regular or regular basis, throw something into the game that the players go, what the?
Yeah, absolutely.
About? Have a treasure hoard filled with gold, jewelries, paintings, object d'art, gold, and a spool of thread. Why is an ogre keeping a spool of thread?
Yeah, just for the boggle factor. Absolutely.
You don't even have to know why. Just put it in there.
Yeah, because they'll try to figure it out.
And if you're a real good GM, you'll figure out the connection.
Oh no, you don't even have to do that.
Or listen to them.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that. You can just have your fun just watching your players chase their tails about it.
Yes, and do it. And the easiest way to do it is with treasure.
Yeah, for sure.
Why do these kobolds have a bastard sword that none of them could lift?
Yeah.
You know.
The other thing to consider is that when you're doing the treasure, understand why do the people who they took the treasure from have it? What are the players going to do with it? And understand that at some point, the math is going to run in their heads, and they're going to start metagaming, and they're going to start thinking about, well, this is just a raw. We got 15,000 gold pieces worth of treasure, or 50,000 gold pieces worth of treasure, if you can even get that much on the open market.
Right.
And then, what are they going to do with that money if it's injected into your campaign? Be prepared for what they're going to use, what they're going to discard, what they're going to market, and what they're just going to cash out or blaze off.
Right.
You know, and understand that that's going to have impacts, and flex for them. Either adjust the economy. You can always do that. If someone ruins the economy because, hey, you know what, we got 50,000 copper pieces here. Yeah, heck, when we get treasure hoards like that, we still take the copper. Not for the money's sake. We turn it into other materials.
Yep.
It gets melted down and turned into other stuff.
Yep. Yep. Or at the very least, sold to a metal worker who will give you, equal or close to equal value for it. And that way, even though it's a pain in the butt to lug out of the Dragon's Lair or whatever place you got it from, even though it's a pain in the butt to transport it, at least you are able to be compensated for the time you spent hauling it.
And sometimes the treasure itself can be the problem.
Yeah.
Whether it's just the raw logistics of how are we going to possibly move this, all the things that aren't nailed down, of course, players are going to take, but everything that is nailed down, they're going to figure out a way. They're going to want to take it.
Right.
And then you can always just have it be the extreme problem and curse the treasure.
Oh, jeez. Now we're going to Pirates of the Caribbean. But
you don't even have to do that. Give them something they can't haul out of the dungeon.
Yeah, that's true too. And that's something I always.
Who wants to take the very expensive rug that the dragon happened to have lying around his hoard? Anybody? 2-3 guys? Come on, anybody?
Yes. Well, you see, that's the whole thing, because then the players start saying, well, you know what? We're going to split the party up. 2 or 3 guys are going to go back to town, and they're going to either get a wagon built or they're going to buy one, and we're going to come back out here with draft horses and whatever else, and we're going to take away every copper piece we can get in that wagon.
Right. And then the DM behind the screen starts rolling with an evil gleam in his eye, thinking, "Are these guys going to make it out of the dungeon?"
Exactly. Exactly.
Guys,
yes.
It can be worse.
Okay.
The 50,000 gold piece value, gold-encrusted single-piece, 30-foot tall, 20-foot wide marble sculpture. That's inside the 50-foot room. That's 150 feet underground, and all the passages leading to it and from it are 5 foot wide.
Yeah,
you got it.
The party will.
They'll try.
Come back with a pit mining crew who will rip the top off the dungeon to expose it and extract it.
And you know what?
And
you want to know what? They'll spend every gold.
That, or they will find a way to magically transport it.
Yeah, which is the more likely thing. And you want to know what? They'll spend almost every gold piece they earned in that dungeon getting it out. And that's all right, because you know what? Because exactly. Because then you don't have to worry about their money anymore, because they decided, because of ego or because of greed or whatever emotion they're exhibiting, they want to get this piece, and they're going to bankrupt themselves doing it. Let them. Let them.
This is why wizards have high intelligence. He comes in with a wheelbarrow full of mush and says, "Hey guys, I got the statue out of the dungeon. What'd you rock the mud?"
Yeah, and now it's done.
Now we got to finish how to put it,
Yeah. Hope somebody has a wish, because, that's going to be
a creative use of a restoration spell for that.
I got a mud to rock spell if we've got a mold.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? Jeez. Well, Corey, were you going to say something? Corey?
Yeah?
I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
No. Oh. I was making off comments when you were.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyway, I think we should move on.
Yeah, let's.
And tell us about it, folks, at THACOshammer@gmail.com. Your treasure stories, how you do it. You got that on your mind, Kojo. Come on. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Let's go on to people skills.
Wish we have time to bear them, fellas.
Hell with them fellas. Buzzard's gotta eat, same as a worm.
How can you shoot women, children? Easy. You just don't lead them so much. Ain't war hell?
Where shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level? Try the local sewer.
People skills.
People skills. Okay, we're going to talk about an article in Dragon number 225, which I just quickly perused here before we got here. Secret origins and motivation of player characters. Dragon number 225.
Mm-hmm. And we went through this a couple of episodes ago when Corey named his 5 main motivators for why player characters adventure. And he named and all 5 are in this article, and they have a few more besides. Okay. Let's see. As the author says, the AD&D game has come a long way since Dungeon Masters could just tell players that their characters met at a tavern and decided they journeyed together to seek their fortunes. I still do that.
Okay, you're all friends.
Yeah, exactly. Today players are encouraged to flesh out their PCs with colorful cultures, specialized classes and kits, and personality types. So why not do the same with their motivations, the spark that sets them on the adventuring road? Players can work with their DM to find a motive that fits both the PC and the game. Some of these say backgrounds will affect the game, so the DM must have a say, of course. Corey, can you name your 5 motivators, please? Because I forgot what they were.
Oh man, you're gonna make me think now. I
Yeah.
had too much to drink.
Love, revenge.
It was motivations to adventure. It was love, revenge, greed, faith, and what was the 5th one?
I can't remember.
A really good pastrami sandwich?
I think destiny, maybe. I don't remember, but it was love, revenge, greed.
Love, revenge, greed, faith.
Anyway,
faith,
faith,
I can't remember the 5th one.
Yeah.
Was it family? I think
might have been family.
Might have been. Okay, so the article goes into those. He has family, and he has love and marriage. He has wealth, which of course, translates to greed, especially since what we just talked about. Curses is another one. And the more creative characters and DMs I've seen come up with those, and they actually make it work. I mean, look at, for example, as curses, look at the movie freaking Lady Hawk. That's a classic one.
That's a curse.
Yeah. 2 people are in love. When the sun's up, the lady turns into a hawk. When the sun goes down, the guy turns into a wolf. And
there's another one. There's a more recent one I can think of too. One word. Shrek.
Yeah, that too.
So what's her name?
Yeah, Fiona. Yeah, she was. Fiona? Yeah, she was cursed to be an ogre. True.
No, she was an ogre cursed to be a human.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good way to turn that on its head, really, because
yes, it is.
Yeah, because I didn't expect that, but okay. Like Corey said, revenge, and of course another one is on the lam, which means they're running from something.
From the law or something.
Yeah, from the law, sought out by assassins or bounty hunters. Family. I mean, I've had
former lovers.
Yeah, that too. In one game that I ran, one of the NPCs that I had, the motivator for another player was that she ran away from her family to escape an arranged marriage, and he was charged to bring her back. And at some point, they were going to have it out physically because they were both martial artists. So it was going to be, one of those classic kind of Tarantino kind of things.
No, actually, I would make the groom that she was supposed to marry the constable's son.
Uh-huh.
And have her fall into some kind of adventure saying, help me. And basically, you got Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then you're pursued by a not
law.
a not so smart sheriff with the law on his side and his more stupid son. It's true. There's no way that you could come for my loins. Sorry. Okay.
But Daddy.
Exactly. Let's see. Another one is mystery. The PC has a question or riddle and goes adventuring to find the answers. What's the riddle of steel?
The riddle of
Yeah.
steel.
Yeah.
Yes, you know it, don't you, boy?
Yeah. Oh, that was a great scene.
Why does the porridge bird lay its egg in the air?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
Conan the Barbarian was mystery / revenge. Both of those. Another one, amnesia. Now, this takes, you know what? Yeah.
Amnesia. I don't remember who I am and that I make shoes and I'm a cobbler, so I'm going to become a barbarian archer.
Yeah. Well, see,
there's a whole show that's doing that right now on TV. Dark
one?
Matter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and but I'm just saying, just as a DM, and I'm looking at this, that this requires a really good player to pull it off correctly.
Right.
And it's something that the DM and the player have to sit down at some point and sort of work it out beforehand, and how things are going to be revealed as the character gains in level and gains experience and has different ways to find out information. In one of
sometimes they may not even find out the information. That's one thing that's got to be decided.
Correct.
Are you going to do a reveal, or is this a huge mystical reset? And they have no way to get the information back, but they have to. The adventure hooks will come in the form of consequences of your unknown past.
Right. I mean,
and I love the classic twist. The monster is me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Beowulf.
There's a couple of film noirs where it's like, I'm looking for this guy. He's looking for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he got amnesia. He didn't know.
Right. Yeah. And you want to know what? In Castle Amber, there is someone who's like that.
Yep.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know he's the monster, and he doesn't find out until the party kills him. Let's see. Another one is tragedy. Which kind of goes hand in hand with revenge sometimes.
Betrayal's good too.
Yeah, betrayal is another good one. Yeah. I mean, there's a character I have who's basically his land is more or less ravaged by a war that he's tried really hard to fight in, but by doing so he lost his instructor and his family and all that stuff, so he decided to leave to get stronger and come back and try to right the wrong. Let's see, another one is shame. And they want to get as far away from some sort of great humiliation they had. I mean, a fallen paladin is a classic one where he just lost it somehow and fell off that narrow path, and now he's a warrior, and now he wants to go to a completely different land in order to escape that.
Right. He's a knight of the old code.
Yeah, exactly. and all these things are wonderful motivators for players, DMs to have some character development in order to have just not just sort of a bash open the door, kill something, take its stuff. There's a little bit of opportunity for role playing in it, especially for characters like that.
And if you action slash guys who start getting the itch
mm-hmm.
that makes you uncomfortable for all this stuff, you don't have to go very deep.
No,
just come up with one sentence.
Yeah, it's easy. It's not difficult at all.
Here's something that's actually made its rounds and actually refined this over time. We call it the questions 3.
Okay.
You take any character, boils down, character, NPC, whatever, you can boil them down to a concept of 3 questions. Question 1, what does your character love? Capital L.
Mm-hmm.
Question 2, what does your character hate?
Mm-hmm.
Capital H.
Yep.
And 3, why is this character willingly and eagerly working for, participating in, being a part of whatever in the heck it is you're playing?
Right.
Why is he here?
Yeah.
Which is the third question is basically this article, and the other two are your refinements.
Right.
Just to give you your, hey, something somewhere, even the most vile person has something that they are devoted to and can even be considered willing to sacrifice for. Even the most noble, heroic paladin has a thing somewhere, it's their berserk button, that they will go out of their way and cause harm to cause harm.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, using Michael Carpenter from the Dresden novels as the example, you mess with his family, he goes nuts. He goes absolutely nuts, and he gets close to falling from the pedestal that his faith has placed him upon. He will do whatever it takes to make sure his family is safe, almost bar none. And that's a character trait, and that's a good one to role play sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this article is a nice one to where, if you're having a little trouble when you're looking at your character sheet and all you see is a bunch of numbers and words and pluses and minuses and this and that, this is a way to flesh it out and make your character more three-dimensional.
And say what you want about the hero system and champions, but the disadvantage is when you get them right, they're great. That gives you great motivation.
Yeah.
And Escargot, my Iron Man clone, had a thing for not thing for kids. I'm not
easy.
I mean,
steady.
No, he did love. He wanted to protect children. That got him into so much hurt.
Right, because once the enemy finds out about that, that's an Achilles heel.
And the GM will make sure that there was always a situation where you had to save a kid or something.
Right.
In honor reason before reason, he has to do it, even though it's going to put him in like the crosshairs.
Right.
Type of thing. So yeah, motivate, stuff like that. It's gold. Champions or D&D or whatever, it's gold.
Yeah, I agree.
For the DM and the player. See, that's what they don't understand. Players are always thinking, well, that just gives DM plot hooks to screw my character over. No, it's good for you too.
Yeah.
Because you get to play it.
Right.
Oh, I get to play getting killed. No, that's not what I mean.
You want some cheese for that wine, kid?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's also the juicy, crunchy meat that's going to make your NPCs that you as a DM have to play have some meat to them.
Correct.
When necessary.
That's right.
Correct. But like I said, this is a good article. Check it out. You'll like it.
All right. Dragon225, if you read it, you got your own motivations, tell us about it. THACOshammer@gmail.com. So let's go to Magic Fingers.
The White Wizard approaches.
There's no such thing as magic.
You're always were a better magician. Who does know that? But whatever your secret was, you have to agree. Mine is better.
Magic Fingers.
Magic Fingers. Okay, Liam's tiny manhood. Hut. See, I said I was thinking Hut. See?
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. Probably one of the most revered spells in the pantheon of D&D, or the catalog of D&D. And I believe there's also a variation on that called somebody secure shelter.
Yes, that's a higher level spell.
Oh, that's one below. But everybody knows Liam's hiding out. That's where the coward-ass wizard goes to hide while everybody's fighting it out.
Actually, from what I'm reading, it's more of a let's get into this magical dimensional space where wandering monsters can't get to us. Yeah, and we can heal up, and it'll last for pretty much the entire night. Okay, this is a 3rd level spell.
Yes.
Range is 0, has verbal, somatic, and material components. Casting time is 3, which is actually
component
really
is a tent.
Yeah, you think. One would think, right? Yeah. Duration is 4 hours plus 1 hour per level, so that's usually enough for it to be
third
overnight.
level. What are you? Third level. What? Fifth level. You got to be to cast a 3rd level spell.
Correct. So it's a grand total of 9 hours, so that's enough for everyone to get sleep.
Exactly.
The area of effect is a 15-foot diameter sphere with no saving throw. When the spell is cast, the wizard creates an unmoving, opaque sphere of force of any desired color around his person. Half of the sphere projects above the ground, the lower half passes through the ground. Up to 7 other man-sized creatures can fit into the field with its creator. They can freely pass into and out of the hut without harming it. However, if the spellcaster removes himself from the hut, the spell dissipates. The temperature inside the hut is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This is good for going into colder or warmer climes, of course. If the exterior temperature is between 0 and 100, an exterior temperature below 0 or above 100 lowers or raises respectively the interior temperature on a 1-for-1 basis. So that means if you're in a 115 degree climate, say you're out in the desert, and you put this up there, the interior temperature is 85 degrees. So, so basically, this is a wonderful little spell for being out in the wilderness, and you either eschew camping equipment or you don't have any.
Right.
And note, this is not actually dimensional magic in any way, shape, or form. This is force magic. This is alteration, creating just a zone of protected space.
Correct.
Or actually, a zone of stable space. It's not even really protected, other than from environmental factors.
Right. Let's see. The tiny hut also provides protection against the elements such as rain, dust, sandstorms, and the like. The hut can withstand any wind of less than hurricane force without being harmed, but wind force greater than that destroys it. So anything under 74 miles an hour, if you want to be technical, the hut protects against it. The interior of the hut is a hemisphere. The spellcaster can illuminate it dimly on a command or extinguish the light as desired. Good for not attracting wandering monsters. Note that also, although the force field is opaque from the outside, it is transparent from within. Missiles, weapons, and most spell effects can pass through the hut without affecting it, although the occupants can be seen from outside the hut, and it can be dispelled. So that usually means that if you're trying to hit something within it, you're basically firing blind because you can't see where it is.
Right.
That's what area of effect spells are for.
Let's see. The material component is a small crystal bead that shatters when the spell duration expires or the hut is dispelled.
So it's a pretty simple thing to set up. And hey, you know what? You can even make extra use of this by say, hey, what if I cast this spell at sea in the water, or in an actual another dimension where I don't have ground. I'm just in open, floating, ethereal space. Does that mean I can have 14? I can have 14 people in there now, right?
That'd be.
I don't lose the lower hemisphere.
Hold on.
Cast it on the open sea. You get those bubbles that people get into on the lakes and just walking across the ocean.
Right. Yeah, and see, and like I said, these series of spells, which we will be covering from time to time, and I'll probably set it up so where the next one comes along, which is Lehman Secure Shelter. These are all These are all good for protection from the elements out in the wilderness.
So what's the casting time on this again?
3.
3, that's not bad.
No, that's actually very good.
I mean, you do that. Of course, you do that at combat, but I mean.
Yeah, you don't want to do this in combat, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you get enough head start.
There's reasons.
Yeah, if only.
There's reasons.
If only there's a way to, just to mask the caster or the party from, ranged attacks and whatnot.
Allow a rogue a sneak attack.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Battlefield negotiation and manipulation. This can be actively used in active combat, not just non-combat situations, if you're creative and willing.
Right. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, it's worth a discussion or debate about it, but but then again, full on, I know you. Looking for the edge, just looking for that little edge, but that's okay.
If your eye's not twitching, I haven't done my job.
Yeah. If I don't have a migraine, you haven't done your job. Anyway, so yeah, this is a nice little spell for being out in the wilderness and protecting against elements and rain and things like that. It's it's a nice little spell just for that.
What's the radius again?
Radius is 15 feet.
I guess you could get a small cart in there if you had to.
Yeah.
Small cart and horse. Say you didn't want your cart and horse stolen during the night or something. And if it's just you and the horse and the cart.
Yeah.
Say there are 2 people, a horse, and a cart.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But yeah, if you're trying to get your other adventuring buddies in with the horse and cart, no, not gonna work.
No, we just put them in the cart.
Right. Well, this is one of those where this is a good spell for you can still set up your watches and have them be on the outside of or on the edges of the area and still be protected from rain or snow or whatever.
And watch out for the half ogre in your party. You don't want a patrol like a goblin patrol come by and says, "Why do I hear snoring and there's a disembodied pair of feet sticking out over there?"
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. Yeah, that's not unnerving or anything, sure.
Anyway, dead giveaway. But
you also can get creative in your color choices of whatever it is that you're picking to appear for the sphere. You know, if you're ice camping on Hoth, you'll probably want to make your sphere white. If you're in the dead of night or in a dark underdark corridor and you don't want people to say perhaps see your campfire light, you might want to make it black.
Agreed.
If you're out in the grass, make it green. That way it blends in with the open fields or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's also the other part of the spell that I think some players miss, because you can more or less camouflage your camping spot that way.
So if you're in the forest, can you do camo?
Yeah, I'd allow it. I mean, you can't. I mean, the funny part is, what is camo though? Because usually, if you're going to go that way, it's just more of a mixture of, if you're in the forest area, it's more of a mixture of shades of green with some browns in there. Right. You know, I mean, it's not going to be like, modern day camouflage or even camo going back to like, the 60s or 70s,
Right.
Because who knows what that is.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah.
The elves with their cloaks of elvenkind, because it says it is.
Then there's that. That's true. That's true.
And the rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a point.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
And the ninjas. I can keep going.
I'm sure you could.
Hey, look, there's a squirrel that's 15 feet up. Hey, there's a squirrel that's 15 feet up off the air. He isn't standing on anything, is he?
Well, no, it doesn't give you actually. It doesn't stop. Things can pass through it freely, so the squirrel would fall through.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The rain would bounce off it. The snow would blow around it. The wind would, the dust storm would make a pocket of void.
Yeah.
But it's not tangible protection against anything really other than the elements.
Correct.
So if your DM has a big nasty grin on his face and owns things like the Dungeoneer Survival Guide and the Wilderness Survival Guide, your party probably needs this spell.
Yeah, because that's a big fat middle finger to those books. It's like, okay, you want to use those? Okay, fine. We're going to use this, and then we're going to have the cleric class Wyvern Watch, and okay, and let's see what happens to something if it comes along sniffing around our camp. Let's see what happens to it. But yeah.
But I had more than Kenny's faithful watch that I cast.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got that right.
Yeah.
Have you ever used it in a game? Have you had it used in a game?
I've had players that I've played with use it, but I haven't used it. Although, if
they been creative with it?
No, they've used it for the purpose for which it was intended.
I'm not even asking full on. You notice I'm not asking full on.
Yeah, I noticed.
I'll get 10 different perverted ways it was used.
Oh boy!
Well, you didn't even get me started on those ways to use it.
Oh God!
Oh,
let's not. We're a family
Let's put
show.
one in the murder hole. Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, we shall. Liam's Tiny Hut. Tell us all about it at THACOshammer@gmail.com. And it's time to close another Splatbook. Surprise, surprise, before we get totally off the rails here. So say goodnight, Corey.
Oh, he can't. He's not here.
And he says goodnight. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking for DM Corey, he says goodnight.
Good luck editing this. Anyway,
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Brian.
Good night, folks. And just remember, if you happen upon if you're walking around in the forest and you happen upon a green dome, be careful, because you don't know what's in there.
The Lochnar. Why did you take the Lochnar?
Give me back my Lochnar. Anyway.
I'm going to start calling you Brian Aesop. Good night. Say goodnight, full on.
Good night, Gamer Nation. Press 1 for a deposit. Press 2 to withdraw. Press 3 if you'd like your answer in Orcish.
Every time he says goodnight for these shows, I just see this like demonic guy saying goodnight to like these little kids in bed, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight." Good night, children. And on that note, I'm DM Glenn saying I'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, God, you creep me out so bad.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the 2nd edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.